everybody, and as a lot of you are probably aware, there's a huge patch coming to Destiny, which is essentially bringing us Rise of Iron, but there's some stuff that we're going to be benefiting from straight away, and that is the weapon tuning and the changes to patrols. So in this video, I'm going to be going through all of the patch notes and letting you guys know what exactly is going to be happening to all of your weapons. So kicking it off with the weapons, we're going to start talking about auto rifles. They're reducing the maximum magazine size for the highest rate of fire auto family. So that's things that are like Doctrine of Passing. They're going to have a smaller magazine size. They've also increased the damage to middle rate of fire auto rifles by 1.5%. Next up, we have pulse rifles, where they've increased the rate of fire for the hockey pulse rifle Lidamility. I've never tried to say that word out loud. But yeah, that pulse rifle. They've also increased the damage for middle rate of fire family pulses, such as Nerwin's Mercy, by 2%. Hand cannons, they fixed an issue where the hand cannon Zauli's Bane rate of fire stat would display incorrectly. They also fixed an issue where the Taken King Vanguard and Arms Day hand cannons stats would display incorrectly. So no actual changes to hand cannons at all, just some bug fixes. I would have liked for them to give us some kind of visual thing that shows the bloom on hand cannons, because I think it's pretty much been confirmed that bloom is on hand cannons, and that's what causes quote-unquote ghost bullets. So that's fine. I'm not a huge fan of having bloom on hand cannons, but if it is going to be there, I would love to have some kind of visual representation of the bloom so people can at least know why their bullets are not hitting people. But hopefully that'll come later. But yeah, nothing for hand cannons is changing. Your hand cannons will feel exactly the same. Moving on to shotguns, Mobius, they decreased the spread on the Titan class shotgun by 0.1 zoom factor increase, and they also increased base stability by 60%. That's not bad. That's actually pretty good. So it's going to be a lot more stable than it was. They increased the high rate of fire and middle low rate of fire shotgun damages by 2%, and they reduced the spread angle penalty on shotguns with the full auto perk. Invective was not affected. So no changes to shotguns, really. I mean, our shotguns that we use, such as Party Crasher and stuff like that, are still going to be really good. What they did do is maybe make the higher rate of fire shotguns a little bit more viable and make full auto a little bit more viable, but I don't know. Nothing's really changed here. I think most of what we see in the Crucible shotgun wise will stay exactly the same. Now on to one of the bigger changes of the patch, and that is sniper rifles. They reduced damage on the middle to high impact 1,000-yard stare family of sniper rifles by 6.95%. Middle to high impact snipers can no longer reliably kill high armor guardians in their super. No land beyond is not affected by this damage reduction. So just talking about that really quickly, if they're running full armor, so a Titans all run full armor, you're not going to be able to headshot Hammer Titans pretty much. Now, if we're talking about Warlocks in their super or Blade Dancers, some don't use full armor. It really depends on who you're playing against. So if they're not running full armor, you will still be able to headshot them, but anyone running high armor and in their super, you will not be able to headshot. Now, just to give my opinion about this a little bit, because I think this is where people have been the most upset. I understand the change because a super is supposed to be a super. It's supposed to be powerful. You're not supposed to think, oh, I'm just gonna stand here and snipe this guy, or I'm just gonna run up to him and shotgun him and get him out of his super. That's not what you're supposed to think. You're supposed to think, oh my god, it's a super, we gotta get the hell out of here. Now, what they're trying to do, in my eyes, is they're trying to make people use their supers to shut down supers. They're trying to have some kind of counterplay here. If you are a Fist of Havoc Titan, or you're a Nova Bomb or Golden Gun, they kind of want you to save your super to take out those roaming supers. So I kind of understand it. I do. I think that it is really cool to hit a headshot and take someone out of their super, but what they have said is that Black Spindle and that super high impact sniper rifle can still snipe people with a headshot out of their super. So if you are wanting to do that, you're going to have to use the highest impact sniper. Will there be higher impact snipers coming back? Maybe Ephrodites could come back? That's very possible. As of right now, it's just exotic snipers that can take people out of their super, but maybe with Rise of Iron, we'll get more legendary ones. I don't know. It's possible, but yeah, if you're running a 1,000-yard stare or you're running a longbow, you're not going to be able to reliably snipe people out of their supers anymore. I understand why people are upset about it because it's awesome to do so, but I also understand that they're trying to make supers be supers, and they're trying to make you use your super to counterplay other supers, not just stand there and wait to get a headshot on them. So if you do want to continue sniping people out of supers, you will have to pick up Black Spindle or something like that. I think a lot of people will start going towards the Glass Protrometry and Waylorn's March and stuff like that, the higher rate of fire ones that have more aim assist now. And yeah, I think that's where a lot of people will end up going, or they'll just go Black Spindle. So I don't know. We'll see how it ends up working out. I feel like maybe some new snipers will come. Obviously, we're going to get new snipers, new legendary snipers. Maybe the new Iron Banner sniper is super high impact. I don't know. But I understand the reason for the change. Supers are supposed to be powerful. I get it. Now, moving on to the rest of the changes to sniper rifles, they have reduced target acquisition for LDR and longbow to bring them in line with other snipers in the middle to high rate of fire family. So less aim assist on LDR and longbow. I mean, they have crazy, ridiculous aim assist. So I think reducing aim assist is totally fine. I think that's maybe something that they should do in general and not have snipers have high aim assist, so that I'm kind of whatever about. They increased the starting strength of aim deflection, also called flinch, and I will call it flinch because that's the term that I know and I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with. They have increased the starting strength of flinch when players take damage while scoped in from 30% starting at 50%. So when you are scoped in and you get hit, you will be at 50% flinch. With every subsequent hit, the strength of flinch increases until you hit 100% max flinch. So if you see a sniper, you put some shots into him, he's going to have 50% flinch on his sniper rifle. If you keep putting shots into him, it's going to make it incredibly difficult for him to hit that headshot on you. I know a ton of people have been very frustrated by the fact that they're just pinging somebody in the head with their pulse rifle and then it's just boom, doesn't matter. So the flinch thing, I think that's something that we probably should have had in the game a while ago. Less aim assist, more flinch. Like, snipers don't need to be this easy to use. They are a lot easier to use in Destiny than they are in other games. So I'm also fine with that. Overall, sniper ADS aim deflection multiplier is increased to 1.9, was 1.85. That's whatever. That's not really much of a change. It's like a 0.5 change. So that's it for sniper rifles. I know this is the most controversial part of the update. Honestly, it's gonna be totally fine, guys. I played against Enkuch. He destroyed everyone with a sniper rifle, and our group was full of some really good players, and he was doing totally fine. So I think if you are a really good sniper, you're still going to be a really good sniper. If you're middle tier to lower tier, maybe you'll struggle a little bit more, but I don't necessarily think that it's a bad thing that snipers become more difficult to use, although it will make shotguns be probably more used than snipers now, potentially. But that brings me on to the next change, because I think this next change is also very important, and that is sidearms. This is another big change, one of the biggest next to sniper rifle. They have unified the damage for all sidearm types, increased damage for existing Hawkeye sidearm families by 3% for the lowest rate of fire and 7% for the higher rate of fire, decreased damage for non-hit scan sidearms by 5% for Vestian Dynasty and Queen's Choice. Minor extension of damage fall-off point for sidearms across the board by only 0.5 meters. Minor increase of stability for sidearms across the board, so we're getting more stability. They added damage bonus in PvE, 20 to 30% depending on the combatant tier, to accommodate 2 new faster firing sidearm families releasing in Rise of Iron. All current sidearm rate of fire bars will be slightly shorter. So that's not going to change anything. It's just going to to allow us to have a better representation actually in the bar when you look at the weapon when it comes to their rate of fire. So sidearms are actually getting a buff in their damage and a buff in stability. So I think sidearms could legitimately be a thing, whether that's now with the current sidearms that we have or later with the sidearms that come out in Rise of Iron. I think that sidearms could become really good. I legitimately am thinking about running a pulse rifle or a scout rifle mixed with a sidearm. I think that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to be testing right off, because I think sidearms could be good. They're in a place where they're almost super good, and maybe that 3% increase of rate of fire or 5% or whatever could actually make sidearms be really good. I meant damage, not rate of fire, by the way. Yeah. But maybe that could push them into being really good. Hopefully at least viable. Next up, we have fusion rifles, where accelerated coils correctly reflects a damage reduction now on the UI stat bars. No change to gameplay effect, UI only. So nothing's happening to fusion rifles, it's purely UI. Moving on to rocket launches, they extended the damage fall-off distance of cluster bombs explosions, so it should do more reliable damage to enemies. It's more likely that the cluster bombs will actually hit people now. Grenades and horseshoes perk proc radius has been reduced by 0.3 meters. Truth is not affected. So if you are wanting to have a super awesome crazy rocket launcher with the unchanged grenades and horseshoes perk, you're going to want to use Truth. Grenades and horseshoes just got nerfed a little bit again. They want people to try and use cluster and other perks rather than just grenades and horseshoes. Moving on to machine guns, they increased the damage on highest rate of fire machine guns by 4%. I think that's good because no one really uses them because their stability is usually super poop. So I'm totally fine with the 4% increase. Next, we are moving on to weapon perks. Some stuff is changing. Magazine perks now give range bonuses, which is interesting. I wonder how much. I don't know if we have specific stats on that. I'll try and find out. Removed impact stat bonuses that had no effect on base damage and only on the UI bars. Armor piercing rounds adds +4 range but reduces -4 handling. High caliber rounds adds +3 range but reduces -5 handling. Skip rounds adds +5 range, reduces -3 handling, but adds +5 inventory. So that's interesting. I really want to look at all of these perks and see just how much it actually changes the current weapons that we have. Now moving on to specific perks. Take a Knee now activates after 0.5 seconds of crouching, so super duper fast. Added flinch reduction 25% and increased the aim down sight speed by 25%. Take a Knee is looking to be like the best sniper perk. No kidding. It literally is. It only takes 0.5 seconds to get the perk. You have increased flinch reduction, which with the change adding more flinch is going to be really good. And you're also going to be able to quick scope a lot faster. So Take a Knee is looking pretty good. Exhumed, they added an extra +5 seconds, 15 seconds total of effect time. Cascade, they changed the functionality. Melee kills now automatically reload a portion of the magazine. Surplus now increases the carried ammo capacity, so surplus, I'm looking for that on all of my special weapons. Grave Robber now has an increased proc chance to 25%, where it was 20%. Guerrilla Fighter increased stability and range bonuses by 200%. And then they said to think of it as a bonus Hammerforged and Perfect Balance when the perk activates. So if you can get Guerrilla Fighter to activate, my goodness, you're going to be really good. Unflinching, they decreased the efficiency of the perk from 25% flinch reduction to 15%. I understand why they did that, because if they didn't, Unflinching would just be the go-to perk and no one would use anything else. So Unflinching is still going to be good. It's going to be good to have it, especially with the flinch changes, but it's not going to be super godly. And then the Firefly, they might have found a possible fix for any crashes related to the special effects triggered by Firefly. So that's good. Hopefully no more crashing. I never experienced it, but I've definitely been in parties with people who experienced it, and it's not good. Next up in the patch, we have exotic weapons, starting out with everyone's favorite weapon to use and play against, universal remote. Exotic perk range bonus has been reduced by 75%. It no longer guarantees maximum shotgun range, and they increased the rate of fire, decreased damage as a secondary effect. So you're going to have 75% less range, which is crazy. Well, the bonus for that range has been reduced by a lot. And also, you're going to have an increased rate of fire, but you're going to have less damage because of that. So maybe this makes Universal not be as crazy to deal with on Titans, skater guys. Next we have Fabian strategy. Kills with this weapon now automatically load a portion of the magazine, increased the base range by 16%, and increased the base stability by 44%. This is going to be really good in PvE. I don't know how good it's going to be in PvP, but for PvE, you're going to be able to just spray everything down, so that's looking super promising. Next up we have Thorn. They reduce the base range by 25%, which I honestly don't think was necessary. For me playing with Thorn, it kind of felt underwhelming, and now it's gonna feel a little bit more underwhelming. It's not terrible, but I don't think it necessarily deserves an exotic slot if you already have a really good AS Luna or a really good Lord High Fixer, etc. Moving on to Dreg's Promise, they increased the damage by 8% and increased the magazine size by 3. With the sidearm changes, maybe Dreg's Promise and the Dreg's Promise buff, maybe it won't be terrible. We'll soon find out, but we will see. Dreg's Promise, you will have your day one day. Touch of Malice. Touch of Malice's self-damage infliction now removes Blessing of Light. So obviously when you were playing Kingfall, a lot of people would put up a bubble, have Blessing of Light, so that when you're using Touch of Malice, it doesn't actually injure you. You will no longer be able to do that. No time to explain. They added an intrinsic perk of Headseeker. I'm super excited about that because Headseeker is a really good perk on pulse rifles, and No Time to Explain is almost in a good place, so maybe, just maybe, No Time to Explain will be good. And the last exotic that I'm actually incredibly excited to try out, Boolean Gemini added an intrinsic perk of high caliber rounds. Your high caliber rounds were removed from multi-tool. They've been put on Boolean Gemini. Couple that with a sidearm, that's the first setup that I'm going to be using. Boolean Gemini and a sidearm. Now moving away from weapon changes and going into armor and also general gameplay changes. Armor, they fixed the bug causing +1 armor perks to sometimes fail to function, so that's good. And the most exciting part of this entire patch, class items can now accept shaders. Guys, we gonna have a fashion show. It's gonna be great. Now moving on to public events. They've actually done some really cool things with public events. For your first daily public event gold completion, you get 1 legendary engram when you are level 40, 15 of the destination materials, 15 legendary marks, 5 motes of light, a very low chance of an exotic shard, 4,000 XP for your core, your subclass, and your gear, and 25 Vanguard rep. For repeated gold public event completions, you get 200 Glimmer, chance of 2 to 5 destination materials, chance of 1 to 2 motes of light, 1.5 thousand experience, a green or blue engram, and 25 Vanguard rep. For repeated silver public event completions, you get 100 Glimmer, a chance of 2 to 3 destination materials, and 750 XP. And repeated bronze public events, you get 50 Glimmer, a chance of 1 to 2 destination materials, and 500 XP. So it's actually going to be super worth it, at least going into patrol once a day and getting that goal completion so you can get a bunch of materials, a bunch of Glimmer, a bunch of motes, a bunch of XP, all that stuff. It's actually going to be worth it now. Now moving on to Crucible Changes, legendary engrams have been removed from the Crucible. So Crucible legendary weapons will drop significantly more often. Everyone hunting their AS Luna, you're going to be in in a good place after this is out, this patch. They fixed an issue where Crucible activity tooltips were showing the wrong icon. Beowulf, Cicero, and Gilgamesh shaders can once again be acquired by completing Crucible matches. Aw yeah, I missed you guys. Fixed some reward logic associated with vanity items from Shaxx's weekly package. The Crucible Quest Factions New Monarchy will no longer ask the player to earn points in the salvage playlist. Crucible Quartermaster weekly bounties have been removed. No one had time to do you, sir. But thank you for your service. And free Sterling Treasure from Weekly Crucible and Postmaster will be discontinued. Sterling Treasure is still available from Prison of Elders and Eververse. Now moving on to the game types of the Crucible. 3v3 game types give slightly less heavy ammo per brick. Trials of Osiris for Year 2 has ended, and it will resume within Rise of Iron on the 30th of September. So we're all excited for that. Now the elimination changes that I'm about to tell you guys about, I'm wondering if they are going to apply to Trials. I would assume that they will because Trials is an elimination game type, and those changes are that heavy ammo now only appears at one central location in elimination matches. That's really cool. I really freaking like that. That change makes me super duper duper happy. And then they also fixed the bug where the heavy ammo could persist through rounds if the heavy ammo round ends before it can spawn. So that's good. I'm excited about that heavy ammo change. Now moving on to salvage, big changes for salvage. Reduced initial relic capture spawn delay from 15 to 10 seconds. Reduced the time between relic spawns from 25 to 15 seconds. Reduced the countdown time on enemy probe from 45 to 30 seconds, increased the interaction radius on enemy probe from 3 to 5 meters, increased successful sabotage score from 150 to 200 points, changed scoring so that now only the interacting player gets points for a successful sabotage. Now moving on to Rift, they added an overshield on player spawn to cut down on spawn camping, so hopefully people can't do that as well now. And they also extended the runner damage resistance when picking up the spark by a few seconds. So when you initially grab the spark, you won't probably die instantly. So that's pretty good. I'm fine with that. The rest of the changes are just adding some physics to stop players from escaping playable areas, and they changed some stuff to the UI, which is pretty interesting. Fireteam and players in current game session list have been combined and will display 12 players without needing to change pages, so that's just nice. It's not gonna break the game, it's not gonna be amazing, but it's nice. Clan roster has been added, but will not be immediately available. Now this is actually going to allow you to see your clan members in game. I'm excited for that. That's really good. The inventory menu has been modified to add ornaments. Hype, excited. And abandoned quest kiosk menu pagination now allows players to view more than the first page. Whew, we're done. That's it. Only a 25-minute video, not a big deal. So that is all of the changes. Of course, the link to the article is in the description if you want to read through the changes yourself. But that is it. Hopefully you found this video useful. Overall, my opinion is that I'm super duper excited for all of the changes. I'm excited to use sidearms and have them be useful. I'm excited to use different sniper rifles. I'm excited to put shaders on my class items. And I'm excited to try out, Boolean Gemini and all of the different weapon combinations that we can do, which will hopefully be viable now. So overall, very excited for the patch. Looking forward to switching things up in the Crucible. So let me know in the comments section, what do you think about the patch? I'm sure some of you are going to be very angry. It's going to be fine, I promise. But let me know in the comment section, what do you think? And I will speak to you awesome people later. If you made it to the end, say pineapple in the comments somewhere. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.